So basically, his release, his jizz, once it is released inside you, it's like an aphrodisiac. You just never stop coming. He literally has to go in,
scoop it out,
take it all out. Yep.
What?
Does he have a suction thingy? How does he do it?
A vacuum cleaner? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Romancing the Monsters. I'm Em.
Hi, I'm S.
I'm Seth.
There was like a question mark.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know who I am. Who am I? Who am I?
I don't know. We'll discover that today, perhaps. So today we have one of our favorite kind of episodes on the podcast, which is our catch up and chill episodes. Essentially, each of us has a list of all the books, TV shows, movies, whatever. There may be surprises, firsts today, who knows? Things that we love, or that we've been loving at the moment, or that we are loving at the moment, verb tense, yeah. I don't fucking know. I'm sick, okay? That's a warning at the beginning of this episode. I'm currently sick, so if I sound a little congested, that's why. Apologies for the annoying voice. Also, the fun thing about recording in advance is that I realized today that we recorded the Devil in Winter episode yesterday, and in it I said that I had a sore throat, and I was like, this one that we're currently recording is going up in a couple weeks, and then Devil in Winter is going up like 4 or 5 weeks after that. So I was like, for people listening, this doesn't make any sense. Or like when we mentioned in Again the Magic that S was sick, I was like, oh, she's still poorly, but then I realized that the episode where we mentioned it the first time was like our bite-sized, which is coming out in December.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so here's, a little look into the behind the scenes. We record these all out of order.
Yeah, there's no order to us.
And way in advance.
Yeah.
Way in advance. So, anywho, if there's an annoying voice today, it's me, and I'm sorry. So, who wants to start? I will admit I am not prepared.
No?
Not prepared at all. No. So, I'm gonna just half-ass it today.
You're allowed to be because you're sick.
Yeah.
Who wants to start? I feel like S never starts.
I always start. Always.
No, you never start. You never start in these, do you?
I feel like I do. I'm going to go back to listen to all of our catch-up and chills just to see who starts. And then I'll make a tally and let you know.
Okay. Do you want me to start?
No, I can go. It's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so for my first book, it's gonna be,
Oh, wait. I should probably mention before we go into this that this is going to be the last catch-up and chill of 2021.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We'll be back in 2022 with more, but this is the last one, so there might be more books on our lists than the usual, because, we break all the rules. Okay, S, first book.
All right, my first book is Bitter Heat by Mia Knight.
Ooh, yeah.
This fucking book. So I heard about this book back in 2019 when it first came out. And for whatever reason, I don't think I read the blurb, but I saw somewhere that it had to do with like couples stranded in like a cabin.
Like marriage in trouble, right?
Yeah, but I thought like this was an estranged husband. He lives out in the woods. He's like a lumberjack type.
Ooh.
That's the assumption that I made, and I was completely wrong.
Oh.
Like it wasn't. So I heard about it. I saw the little tidbit, and I made assumptions, and I didn't bother adding it to my TBR.
Why? You don't like the lumberjack?
Back in 2019,
character?
It wasn't. I don't think it was something that
It wasn't doing it for you.
It wasn't my moment for it. But I saw a quote about this book on Twitter.
Okay.
And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, is this a lumberjack book? Or is this? So I did more research on it. I looked it up. I read the blurb and I was like, okay, I'm adding this to my TBR. But then I heard that it ends in a cliffhanger. There was no release date for the next book.
Still? To this day?
Still to this day, I think there's no release date. I just know that the author's still working on it.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to wait it out. I'm going to wait until the second book comes out. But I couldn't wait. I was really anxious.
She couldn't wait, listeners. She couldn't wait.
I couldn't wait. I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll start it. And this is the book I started a little bit after I got sick. This was my comeback book that I read.
Okay.
Do I need a comeback book?
You need one.
Well, actually, S was on the brink of death, so I feel like you deserved a comeback book more than I did.
So this was my comeback book, and I devoured it. Like I sucked it up. I sucked because
yeah, you did, girl.
I literally no. But it's a really good book. It's a second chance. It is raw. It is steamy. It's a dark romance.
Okay, I was gonna ask.
Yeah, and you know how I love like my psychotic, grumpy
Heroes.
Yes, we
There's
love your psycho.
We're adding another one to the list. So it's about Jasmine Hennessy, who is the illegitimate daughter to the Hennessy Empire. And being illegitimate, she didn't grow up with her sisters or her father. So she always tried to find ways to win her father's approval. When she's in her 20s, her father arranges for her to marry some dude. I don't remember his name. He doesn't really matter. But
he's not the lead?
He's not the lead, no.
Oh, okay.
So she's arranged to marry this guy, and she's saying yes to everything because she wants to win her father's love and trust and whatnot. But then she lays eyes on the actual hero, and she just like throws everything away and basically ends up getting married to the guy, to our hero. His name is James Roth. But getting with him, there's consequences. There's a lot of heartache. Her father disowns her. And then there's like revenge thrown in there. And then
Okay.
but the book starts off with Jasmine running into her now ex-husband. And it's been 5 years since they've seen each other. And like right off the bat, like it's crazy. Like not crazy like that, but I don't even know how to explain it. But it's intense. Their relationship is really intense. It's toxic. He basically, he's not afraid to hurt anyone to try to get to her. He doesn't care about anybody's feelings just as long as he has her.
How did he let the divorce happen?
He didn't. She kind of, the divorce was forced. Like some shit went down and she had to ask for her father to kind of force his hand to sign and get a divorce. If not, he wouldn't have let it happen.
So the second book is following the same couple?
It's the same couple, yeah. Their story continues because it ended in a little bit of a cliffhanger.
Interesting indeed. It's a book that's been on my TBR for a while.
It's been on yours, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for a while.
Interesting.
Been meaning to read it just because I had heard that it was Marriage in Trouble and that it's kind of dark romance. And I know that, is it Maya Knight? I know that she writes Mafia as well. So I was like, ooh, interesting. And yeah, so, making me interested to maybe bump it up a little bit. We'll see.
So bump it up to like 5,002 from
exactly
10,005.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something, Seth, okay?
What?
A book is more likely to be read on my TBR if it's one of the last ones that I've added, okay? I look at the last like 100 books that I've added the most. So
Oh my god.
Well, good thing we have our Face Your Monster episodes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason why I would pick up a book that's like in the first 3 pages on my TBR because it's like 70 pages long. All right, are you done?
Who's next?
Seth, how about you go next? You're never sandwiched in the middle.
Okay. All right. I mean, let me be in the middle, I guess.
Days.
Okay, so I don't know what to start with. Should I start like vanilla, or should I
No, start vanilla. I'm feeling
start
it.
vanilla? All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first mention is actually 2 books, but it's by the same author in the same series.
Cheater.
Shut up. We said we're not following any rules today. Anyways, okay, so I'm going to be talking about the Bergman siblings or the family.
Yes.
By Chloe Leiss. So the first one, it's book 3 in the series, and I just for some reason never got around to it. It's Ever After Always. And so this one is like it's like a marriage in trouble, and it's the eldest child in the family, and her husband Aiden, who's like been a part of the family for like obviously since they were married. And Freya, which is the main girl, wants a divorce because she feels like her marriage has reached like its end, and she no longer feels joy in this marriage. And then Aiden is obviously thrown for a loop because he kind of didn't know where this was coming from. He didn't think like, of course, like he knows like there was like no sex happening and like things like that, but like he didn't think they were at that point where like divorce was imminent. And yeah, so that book was really good in terms of like them finding each other again and falling in love again. And I like, it was just like such a realistic take. Like I've obviously never been through, not obviously, but I've just never been through like a divorce or anything like that. But like just like what's in there in terms of like having therapy sessions, like trying to like find things you love about each other again. And like also in this book, the main guy, he's battling crippling anxiety to the point where like things are like he can't even like stand, or like he can't even like have sex. Like that's how bad his anxiety gets. And like also this book mentions Lisa Kleypas, which I loved. Yes. So like
we love romance inception.
Yes. So basically the brothers, so the Bergman brothers, there's one, he loves reading, and he ends up reading romance books, and it's just something that happens in the family. Like their dad also loves like romance books too. He would read a chapter a night to like his wife. Anyways, so I know, it's so cute. And so basically this brother recommends Tempt Me by Twilight, which is Harry and Poppy's book.
Has not read that one.
No. And obviously for reasons that I don't want to spoil for us, this book kind of like mirrors their story in a way, in terms of like where they are in their relationship. And I just like, I loved it because like I love Lisa Kleypas and I love this writer, so I just thought it really worked just quite well. And then the second book that I read, because like I just couldn't stop like reading these books, I loved the third one, was With You Forever, which is the 4th book, and it was like, I think it's the newest book right now. And it's about Axel, which is like the eldest son in the family. And he's always like the silent, grumpy one. And like, he's
Why
like.
do they all have very sexy names?
Because they're all sexy. They're all like Swedish, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, they're Swedish.
Are they blonde?
Yes, but I don't think Axel.
Is that a stereotype?
No. I think they are blonde, but I don't think Axel was blonde.
Okay. He's the black sheep of the family.
Basically, yeah. He's like the silent one. He always like separates himself from the family because like crowds aren't something he's comfortable with, and like he has a big family. And so basically he enters into a marriage of convenience with Rooney, which is like a friend of the family. So she is actually the best friend of the girl in the first book, Willa. And so she's just like kind of always had this like, I guess, little crush on Axel, but like she never thought it was reciprocated because he's always been so closed off and so silent towards her. But anyways, he needs a wife to unlock his inheritance from his uncle because he wants to fix their family home. And anyways, the story really just gets started with them and like actually just being in a little house together and like just falling in love. I love Marriage of Convenience, which is like why this book was like one of my favorites of the year. Because man, like he was so cute and like she was so cute, and like I just love how this book felt so like fresh in the sense where like this author really talks about like things that people don't talk about. Like in this book itself, the heroine had IBS, which irritable bowel syndrome. It's not something that you actually read about in books, and like they actually talk about it like it's not something to be shameful about, like, because it isn't. It's like obviously a chronic condition, and this character has it, and I just love that it was just there, you know, like she mentioned that she's like, yeah, I have this, And also, like, the hero in this book also has ASD. And so, like, it just, I don't know, I just love this author. I just think the series is really good if you're into, like, great heroes and, like, great heroines and, like, who deal with real life problems. Like, I don't know, these books are just awesome.
I especially like the marriage in trouble trope just because I feel like it's extremely relevant to today. You know, divorce rates are at an all-time high, especially after a pandemic. But they were high before. But also, like, I just think the concept of, like, some people really do break up slowly in the sense that it's like they wake up one day and they look at their, you know, quote unquote loved one and they're like, I don't feel that connection with you anymore. I don't feel that love. We're comfortable together. We're, you know, friends in a way, and we agree on many things, but yet I don't love you anymore. Or, like, that spark is not there anymore. And it's a very sad concept, and so I feel like turning it into, you know, a second chance at love type of scenario is, you know, can heal some people, can give them hope that, maybe we should try again to fall in love again.
And I feel like sometimes it's a common misconception. I feel like in this book they mention it, like, the character herself, she just like always thought, like, you know, love would be there, like, it would just be like those two against the world. And like the therapist was like, are you kidding? Marriage is hard.
Like, staying in love is hard.
You need to choose to love that person every day.
Hi, Violet Bridgerton. You have to choose love every day.
Anyways, I just, like, I don't know. I think this series is important because it does talk about things that aren't explored in romance novels and even, like, in general society, like, in our world. I just feel like it's just good to, you know, just escape in a romance novel where these things are talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. Agreed. Okay, so moving on from contemporary to fantasy, because the first book on my list, and I wish I could have read the second book in time for this, but alas, I did not manage that. But the first book on my list is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, I think is how you pronounce her name.
That's on my list.
So I'm gonna try not butcher this synopsis, but, like, it's a fantasy book, and also I didn't write notes, so, like, please bear with me. But essentially this book is about Tisana, who is a slave. So at the beginning of the book, she's a slave. She has this, like, traumatic background where her village was killed off and she was taken as a slave, and then she was bought by this very rich man, who's essentially like a lord of some land, and she's trying at the beginning of this book to buy back her freedom.
Okay.
And she manages it, so that's not a spoiler. This is like first or second chapter. She manages to get all the money to buy back her freedom, and she presents that to her master, and he's like, psych. He's like, you really think I was gonna let you buy yourself back? I don't think so.
Is this guy the love interest?
No, he's not. He's not. But they do have this very interesting relationship where it's like, it's complicated, you know? Like, she did have a weird sense of not love but affection for this man, but she can see how that was kind of twisted and it wasn't real for the most part. It was kind of like Stockholm Syndrome-ish, even though Stockholm Syndrome is not real.
Yeah.
But, you know. So anyway, so she kills him. Again, not a spoiler. And she escapes his kingdom and tries to make it to the orders because Tisana is a magic wielder, so she has powers. So she's trying to make it back to the orders who have, I think it's the moon and the sun or something like that. I'll be honest, I don't remember the specific terms that are used in the book, but her people are within the orders. So she's trying to get there and, like, you know, become an apprentice. And they're like, okay, but she's way older than, you know, most apprentices, because usually they start, you know, training at like 8 years old or whatever, and she's like 24 or something. she might be 19. I'm not sure. She's an adult.
Okay.
So anyway, so they're like, well, unfortunately, we have no other mentor for you available right now, except Max Antarius, Mr. Grumpy Guy, who has renounced on his role within the army. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm over this life. I just want to tend to my little garden, have my little house, live alone, away from everyone and everything. Don't bother me. But then the order is like, well, actually, you're going to have to train this girl. So she goes with him, and they have this, like, budding, like, you know, friendship, but like it's reluctant friendship, and then they kind of they become more and more friends, and then obviously it turns into lovers. But it's like is it mentor mentee, or like apprentice master type of romance?
Ooh,
I guess you could say. And there's an interesting aspect to this story which I cannot really reveal without spoiling things, so I'll say that there's a venom aspect to this book. Someone described it as that, and
venom as in like hot ass alien living inside you.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, it was a very good book. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see where it goes next, because obviously this is the first book in a fantasy world, so series. Sorry. So like usually, you know, the first one is never the best because it has to do a lot of work for you know, setting things up, and but I think it did a great job of setting things up and making you really care about these characters and leaving you like, wow, I don't know where we're gonna go from this, because it seems depressing and dark.
Do you know how many books are gonna be in the series, or?
I believe it's 3.
Okay.
And she's currently writing the 3rd one. So.
Okay.
You had me at a grumpy hero that loves to garden.
Yeah, same.
Definitely grumpy hero who loves to garden, but also like deep down he's got a big heart. You know, he's that kind of hero who essentially said, I'm never going to war ever again, but then he sees, you know, the woman that he loves going off to war, and he's like, fuck it, I guess I'm going.
So does this series, you said it's fantasy, does it have like like fated mates or anything like that, or is it just like fantasy as in like fantasy world?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
It's mostly just magic and like a fantasy world with a venom-ish character. ?
Yeah, that's been on my list, so hopefully I get to it sometime, you know, ever in my life. Yeah. See, I'm not promising it'll be my next read this time. You guys noticing that? Yeah.
I don't trust when Seth says, oh, it's gonna be my next read.
Because it
never is.
In the moment, it is my next read, but then I don't know what happens, and I just.
But then the episode ends, and she's like, fine.
But also, by the end of the episode, she's said it about like 8 different books. So. We already know she's lying.
So let's see if she says it's about my next book.
Okay. Then let's hear it. What's your next book?
So mine is the second book in the Bonds That Tie series by J. Bree. Savage Bonds. So I'm gonna try to convince you girls
to read Reverse Harem.
To let this be your first reverse harem.
Tonight is the night.
All right. And you mentioned book 1 in the previous Catch Up and Chill, right? Or was that?
Did she?
Yes, it was episode 5.
Yeah.
I mean, Catch Up and Chill 5.
Yeah, so if you want to hear S's thoughts and also G's thoughts on it, go to episode 5.
Check out the other.
Catch Up and Chill 5, not episode 5.
Yeah. So this series, it has my heart at the moment. Like, I am obsessed. So basically, just a little quick reminder, it's about this girl named Ollie. She has 5 bonds who are North Knox, Griffin, Atlas, and Gabe. The first book starts off that she was in a car accident. She loses her parents. She runs away. She's on the run for 5 years. She's captured. And then she's handed over to her bonds, and like her bonds are like pissed off because they think that she's a brat. She ran away. She has no good reason. She put them through hell. But, you know, there are reasons why she ran away. And with this second book, like we go, so everybody in this world has some type of like gift or power. And so when you find your bonds and when you complete the bond, when she sleeps with each guy, they combine powers and they become like really powerful.
They become like
This is next level Avatar.
No, not the Avatar. What was that show that we liked? Where they like assembled and became like a huge
Oh, Voltron!
Voltron. It's like Voltron.
Oh my god, I miss Voltron.
Me
I never got to
too.
finish that series.
So they all have sex, then they assemble, they become
No. Like, no, like, there's, like, a lot of shit happens, a lot of shit goes on, a lot of things that we don't know about. But essentially, that's what needs to happen. And she's not allowing that.
Oh, even in book 2?
Because
No, you can't spoil that, can you?
I can't. No.
God damn it.
I know.
But she's in the first book. She tries not to because it's consequences. Shit happens. But there's this part in book 2 where one of the guys, his power is that he has nightmare creatures. So when he gets mad, like he kind of like releases like all these like hideous, scary creatures, and like he has a little smoke puppy.
Oh.
that stays hidden like behind his ear, inside his hair, and he like comes out all protective. So he's the one that doesn't want anything to do with Ollie, the main girl.
Yeah.
But he allows that smoke puppy to kind of protect her and like sleep with her. And everybody thinks it's like a spy. But who knows if it's a spy or not. But it's like a cute little puppy, like a cute little baby Doberman that's like sitting on your freaking shoulder. And then it grows big when it wants to grow big. It sleeps next to you or next to the girl.
Do they interact with each other or not?
They do. They live together.
But,
so
I mean, like sexually interact with each other.
like with the guys right now?
Yeah.
Like, no.
Interesting.
Except unless you want me to tell you a little something.
You're gonna have to tell me, girl. You're trying to convince me here.
All right, listeners, if you don't want to know, skip ahead 3 minutes.
Okay.
3 minutes.
So there's okay, so in the first book, there's this scene with this guy Knox, the one that he hates her, like completely fucking hates her, where he kind of like forces himself on her in a way.
Steph's face. Oh my god, we are going to hell.
I know.
And we are going to enjoy it. That's the worst part.
Oh my god.
He kind of like forces himself on her, and he tries to get her bond to wake up and to kind of wake his bond up so they can like actually, cause she has this bond inside. It's like another, like, I feel like it's like a separate being that when that bond wakes up, it kind of takes over and like it controls you basically. So he tried to like kind of like coax that bond out, but it didn't happen.
Why can't
so
it
in
just be that one guy?
I know,
I kind of
right?
just want him. Is he the same guy who did the belly thing when she had her period? Is that the same
No,
guy?
that was Griffin.
Oh, okay.
That was Griffin. Oh, he's amazing too. Okay, so there's that Griffin that did the whole thing with her. She had cramps, and he used his powers to help her. So so in the second book, he's the one that she bonds with. So she's kind of, I don't want to say forced, but something happens where she has to sleep with one guy each night, but they try to keep it platonic and like
no emotions involved.
No emotions involved. So when it's Griffin's night, she goes into his room and he's taking a shower, and she smells another female's perfume on his bed.
Wait,
so
do
her
they
bond
sleep with other
wakes
women
up.
as like they're with other, like with her?
No.
So like when she enters the page from like book 1, are they with other people?
I believe Knox is the one that hates her.
Damn Knox, man.
And he brings other girls around her to make her jealous. He gets so mad.
He should be the last one to bond with her.
I think so too. So okay, so she it's Griffin's night. She goes into his room. He's taking a shower, and she goes near his bed, gonna get ready to lay down, and she smells some other girl's perfume. And her bond wakes up, and she can like try to control it. Her bond takes over, and her eyes go black. he comes out of the shower and he sees her, like, what's wrong? And I think she, like, says something like mine or something like that. And his bond takes over. And they just, like, they clash. And, like, they can't control it. Their bonds are
Okay, fine.
I'm going to read this. God damn it.
I feel like I'm going to be reading this too.
So that the only reason why I tell you girls that it's kind of safe, that I think you girls, as of right now, girls can read. Like, there's no sharing.
Okay.
Other than
That's what I wanted to know.
There are moments where they all, like 3-4 of them, like they're in the same room sleeping with her, but that's only to kind of take care of her, to make sure she's sleeping right, her power doesn't take over. There's no sexual, at least there's tension, but it's nothing like that where it's like they're sharing.
I'm shaking my head.
I feel like this is happening.
Fucking hell. It is happening. It's inevitable. I'm hearing all these things and I'm like, yep, I want to read that. Well, Seth was right with 3 minutes. Welcome back. Welcome back, everyone.
But the Bonsatai, Jay Bree.
Yeah.
Yes, it's there.
I'm not just convincing Marge and Seth. Like, I want everybody to read this.
She's trying to convince her listeners as well.
All right. I'm totally switching to another type, a different 5 people. That made no sense, but it made sense in my head.
What kind of 5 people are you reading about?
You already read a reverse harem.
She read a harem book. You know, it's not reverse harem, it's a harem book.
No, guys. Actually, I'm going to burst all y'all bubbles. And it's actually a Turkish show.
Oh.
That transition, though. That transition. It was
a nightmare. Anyways, the show, I'm recommending that, like, season 2 just came out, and I binged it all in, like, a day and a half. Was Love 101, and it's on Netflix, actually. So basically a quick rundown of the show is the first season basically is about 5 young high schoolers that come together to make sure that they don't get expelled. So one girl's an honor student, and like she ends up befriending the 4 kids that are going to get expelled. But then there was one teacher that voted against the kids getting sent out of school. But she's actually leaving to another position. She got hired somewhere else. But they don't want her to leave because if she leaves, then they actually are expelled. Because it needs to be like everyone needed to vote and like send them out. Anyways, so they become friends with this girl, and they all come up with this plan to make this teacher fall in love with the new basketball coach. And so the story kind of starts from there, and like they come together, they become like a little found family, and yeah, it's just like the story had like everything. It had like great humor, great romance. We had one character who was like my baby. I loved him so much. He's like battling intense depression and alcoholism because like he has a really bad home life, and like it's just like it was heartbreaking. And then like it flashes from the past, which is like when they were kids, to the future when they're adults, and like they're all meeting back at this one house where they got to know each other and like became friends, and you're just kind of waiting to see like who survived and like who's gonna actually come, because like they made it seem like by the end of season 1 that like my guy that I loved died. So like season 2 comes around and like you're still kind of figuring out what's happening, and like anyways, season 2 was amazing, just as amazing as the first one, and like I just highly recommend it if you're looking for like, it's actually a quick show. It's like 8 episodes, 40 minutes, and like it's just great. It's just such a good March shot.
So short. So short.
It is, okay? And it's just like a fun show. Like I said, about found family, intense chemistry. Like, let me tell you, those teachers, amazing. Like, I love, like, the teachers that they forced to fall in love with. Like, they're amazing. So, like, their chemistry was so amazing. Sorry. That they got offered another show to do together. And, like, so they're actually doing a show right now, and like that one is honestly like that has my heart right now, and that one's called Yargi. But anyway, so basically it's just like they're just amazing, and like their chemistry is amazing, and it's not just them, it's like the whole show. The 5 of them together, the kids, have amazing chemistry as well. And it's just a really good show.
S, you sound like you know the show she's talking about.
Yeah, so I watched it already when it first came out.
Yeah, she watched it before me.
I tried watching it like 2 days ago. I tried starting the 2nd season, but you know how usually shows the 2nd season comes out and you get kind of like a rundown of like the first season. So I was waiting for that, and for some reason it didn't give me the rundown. So I was like, I think I'm going to have to go back, either rewatch the last episode to kind of remember how it ended, and then dive into the second one. If not, I think I'm going to start from the beginning and work my way.
Like, can you watch the other show that they're in right now? Because it's amazing.
Which one?
It's okay.
Send me.
I will. I'll send it to you. But let me just give you a quick rundown so you know what it's about.
Okay.
So basically, shut up. Hello. I've only been talking for like 3 minutes.
Let her talk, Marge.
Anyways. It's so he's a prosecutor and she's a defense lawyer.
She had her notes. She was prepared to talk about this other show.
I have it in my notes, yeah. Just in case. It was gonna be my honorable mentions.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Wait, you did tell us. You did tell me about this, right?
I think I did.
He's a lawyer?
Yeah. So basically, the plot thickens because, shut up. Anyways, yeah, she's a defense lawyer, and so, his younger brother is a prime suspect in a murder case of a young girl who was found dead in a dumpster. And so basically he hires the main girl to be the lawyer for his brother. And like, she's not against hiding evidence or like doing things the wrong way, while he's someone that really follows the rules. And anyways, the end of the first episode, it's not really a spoiler, I think it's in the synopsis. You find out that the girl who died was actually the main girl's sister. So it's like, did his brother kill her sister? And is she gonna defend the killer of her sister?
Da, da, da.
I know. Anyways, that...
Is it sad?
It's sad, yeah, but like they're just really cute. Like their chemistry is still amazing. All right, I'm done. Marge, take it away.
It's your turn, Marge. Take it away.
Okay, so I'm moving on to Paranormal Romance with a book that I don't think Seth enjoyed that much.
Ooh, okay. What book is it?
It is The Sinner by Emma Scott.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, that was a reaction and a half.
Was it that bad?
No! Oh my gosh, I just said yeah, as in I know a book that is.
I don't know.
But
That yeah sounded...
I don't know about that. Yeah.
I didn't love the book.
I didn't love the book either, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Not my favorite Emma Scott book. I think she writes... Well, it's because I'm just used to her books being more, like, emotional, more like, you know, the inner journey of the characters emotionally and stuff, which this book wasn't so much focused on that, which is fine. Like, I'm all for authors going out there and trying out new stuff and new genres and, you know, exploring what else they could write. And so this book is about Lucy Dennings, who is kind of an introvert. She works for a nonprofit. She has like the biggest heart, and she is 20-something years old, and she's pretty much never been in a relationship. Her dad died, and she feels very alone in the world. One day she's coming back from work, and she notices a dead body, you know, close to her apartment, and she's like, the hell?
By a dumpster!
By a dumpster.
Is this like a thing?
Dead bodies next to dumpsters? I mean, I feel like that makes sense, actually.
Okay,
anyways,
yeah.
And so she approaches said dead body. She's like, oh my god, like, what the hell? And turns out that that dead body in question is actually not dead at all, and it's not a human body, it's an angel's body. Because the angel in question wakes up, and he's this beautiful, gorgeous man named Casriel.
Question: what is a gorgeous angel doing laying down near a dumpster?
Well, he
What's
just
happening?
crossed. He just crossed over from, because he's actually not an angel, he's a demon. So he crossed over pretty much from hell, or like the death realm, to her world.
Listeners can't see your hand actions.
Yeah, they can't see my hand gestures, but there were hand gestures involved. So anyway, he wakes up, and it's not really a spoiler to say that this is a reincarnation book. It's also love through the ages, and so Casriel is very much aware of who Lucy is, because they were lovers through many, 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 many lifetimes. They were separated, you know, during a traumatic event, and as a result, he became this like demonish prince of hell, and she became, she was kind of just like constantly reincarnated. And essentially the whole story is sort of Lucy, realizing that, like, because he doesn't tell her, because he doesn't really want to force that upon her, because he has, I think it's 7 or 11 days before he's gonna essentially kill himself for real. He's gonna go out there and ask the, like, king of hell, I guess, to kill him.
Yeah.
Or provoke the king into killing him for real, so that he can never cross again, and, like, that will just be the end for him. Because he's tired of doing this, and he's tired of seeing Lucy sort of being reincarnated like that, and just being, unhappy and stuff. So he's got 11 days to try to make her happy. He's trying to find her someone who she will live off the rest of her days happily ever after. And to do so, he and Lucy come up with a plan, which is to fake date each other. Because Lucy, all she knows is that he's trying to get his redemption, because she knows he's done terrible things, and she's like, all right, like, I'm the key to your redemption, but, like, secretly for him, it's like, no, I'm actually trying to get you to have, like, a happy ever after, so that I can go and, like, die and know that you'll be happy without me, type of thing. So they fake date each other, and anyways, like, overall, I quite enjoyed the book. I really liked how the demons were in this book. Like, obviously I've had more demonish demons before.
Oh, she's had them.
I liked the concept of the demons are like, the expression, like, you have a demon and an angel on your shoulders type of thing. Like, they are literally demons, like, they actually exist. And Lucy really struggles with, she's very self-conscious, she has a very low self-esteem of herself, she's constantly like, nobody cares about you, you don't matter, you're not pretty enough, you're not intelligent enough, you're not wanted or desired, blah blah blah. And essentially those demons are actually, like, personified as, like, actual demons that follow her around and, like, insult her and stuff, and, like, make her believe all these things. So I just really liked that idea behind it. And yeah, I mean, I don't read a whole lot of reincarnation or love through the ages books.
Yeah, I wish there were more reincarnation books, to be honest. I just love reincarnation. I just think it's such an amazing concept, and to, like, have it for a romance, I just feel like it's just so good. Like, those who love the death trope, like, you get reincarnated, you get the bittersweetness of, like, the death trope, and then, get born again and, like, have the romance again. I don't know, I just think it's such a great trope.
Yeah. The one thing I didn't like about it as much, and listeners, you can skip ahead to not hear the spoiler, but in the end, the way it ends, so the epilogue makes it not seem, the epilogue literally tells you that now that they're happy and he's kind of, like, managed to break the curse, if you will, they both die and they both get reincarnated again and again and again.
Yeah.
So my pet peeve with that is that, for me, what I like about reincarnation things, or, like, love through the ages, where there's like a curse-ish aspect to it, where, like, one character needs to get redeemed, is that, for me, at the end, once they've resolved that and found their happiness, it should just end. They shouldn't continue to reincarnate after that, because then that's just more trauma and more unhappiness probably to come. Obviously, the epilogue made it sound like their lives after that were happy as well, but, like, I don't know, like, I would have just preferred for it to be their last lifetime together.
Yeah, I just feel like reincarnation, like, at least from, like, what I've read or seen in the past, I feel like what happens is, like, they get reincarnated because there's, like, a bigger evil,
something to face.
Yeah. And, like, with this book, I thought it was so strange. I kind of felt like I was robbed, in the sense where, like, they reached their happily ever after, but, like, they didn't. Like, they obviously, like, grow, and, like, they grow old and they die, and then they get born again, and, like, they have to, like, go through all these, like, bad relationships until they find each other again, and then they grow old and die, and then repeat and repeat and repeat. And I'm like, let their souls rest.
Tiresome.
I feel like
yeah. Like, obviously they don't know that. Like, they don't know that they're constantly being, like, reincarnated. But, like, I don't know. Something about it was just off for me.
Yeah. But no, I agree. It was, like, overall a good book. Like, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah. But I am excited for, so his best friend, Kazriel's best friend, whose name I can't remember right now, and her best friend, whose name I also can't remember right now, they're going to have a book, and that's going to be MM. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I have an idea.
Oh.
Why don't you, Seth, write your own
reincarnation book? You are so right.
I know, I should.
Why don't you?
I just, like, I hate it, because you have so many ideas, like, I mean, I'm talking about, like, in general, and, like, you just never get around to it.
But also there are tropes that you love so much that you're scared of touching them because you know they're difficult.
Exactly. And it's like, what in case I'm that one person that writes the story and then everyone's like, no, this is wrong. This is not how reincarnation should be. You know, like, that fear is just there.
But the thing is, you have your idea of what you think the best reincarnation plot is, and all that matters is for you to love it. And if you love it, other people will too. And the people that don't, they can fucking get out of here.
All right.
Peer pressuring you into writing a reincarnation book. Love to see it. Love to see it.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, S.
Okay, so the next item on my list is a show called Money Heist.
Ooh.
This show got me through my sickness as well. This is what I watched when I was sick. It's a really good show. Like, it's like, I'm upset. Like, I already finished like all like 5 seasons of it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's really good. So basically it's about a man that goes by the Professor, and he has a plan to pull off one of the biggest heists ever recorded in history. And it's to break into the Royal Mint of Spain to print billions of euros.
Damn.
Okay.
And he ends up recruiting 8 people that have a certain level of like abilities and skills that can help pull off the heist. Mm-hmm. They all come from like different backgrounds of, you know, walks of life and stuff. And it's amazing because the shit goes down and you think like there's no way they're gonna get out of it. Like, there's no way for them to pull this off.
Yeah.
But they have a plan A, they have a plan B, they have a plan C, just in case, like, every type of scenario or anything that can go wrong, they have a backup. They'll think about it like on the spot, like, we're gonna pull this off. It's freaking emotional. It's funny. It's like found family.
I love found family.
Yeah. And it's crazy because like it's crazy and frustrating because there are moments where they're like at each other's throats, getting ready to kill each other. But if someone comes between them, like they're like the biggest defenders of like their little group, their crew. And it's really good. I highly recommend it. It's like 5 seasons.
Does each season cover like a different heist?
It covers, so the first 2 seasons covers the first heist. And then, like, 3 to 5, it takes up the second heist that they end up doing.
Oh, okay.
But it's in Spanish, but I think you can change it to English. And there's, like, subtitles and all that,
Like Seth says all the time, you read books anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Unless you have ADHD, in which case you probably cannot watch a screen and read subtitles at the same time. I understand that.
And also, let's be honest, the subtitles sometimes aren't the best, and...
That too. Yeah.
They're really not.
Just learn the language, guys. That's it.
Right? Just learn Spanish.
That's what you did, right? With your Turkish shows and...
How dare you not just do that, right?
Right?
Can you imagine? Like, you get invested in a show and you're like, I'm going to learn the language. I mean,
Right,
hello, that's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
Is Duolingo like harassing you?
Yeah, but I got pissed. I lost my, I was literally on the cusp of 300 days for my streak, and I sadly lost my streak.
Oh.
So I'm at day 0. So I need to, build that back up again.
300 days? That's the whole year, almost.
I know.
What the hell? Damn.
It was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving killed my streak.
No thanks to Thanksgiving.
All right. So my next mention is Craving Tavuk. It's an alien book, guys.
Yay!
Craving Tavuk by Zoe Draven. So yeah. So this is actually the book with the mystery jizz that you all wanted to know about.
Yes.
Finally, after months.
I know, it's been so long. Anyway, so this is book, I think, 4 out of the series. I actually did not read the previous 3 books because, I don't know, I just never got around to it. And I also just really wanted something Zoe Draven and something angsty. And I knew this book delivered on both of that. Obviously, because it's Zoe Draven. And anyways, so this book starts off with a human woman named Stella. She runs a bar or like a pub on an alien planet, and she meets the main lead. Well, she already knows him. So basically, he's a frequent visitor at this bar, and she's very, very attracted to him. I mean, he sounds hot. And she constantly tries to like strike up conversations with him, despite him like literally like stonewalling her. Like, he legit does not talk to her. Like, he would look at her, but like he wouldn't like interact whatsoever. He's very hostile, very, very grumpy towards everyone. But he does find her attractive because this book is dual POV. So, like, you know, in his head, he finds her very attractive, but he doesn't act on it because of his past. And, like, things happen, and, like, he does little things where, like, she thinks he hates her completely. He is repulsed by her touch. Like, he would pull away and just, like, don't ever touch me again. And she's like, okay, great. He doesn't find me attractive. But then, like, he would go early morning to, like, help pick up, like, the beer or whatever for her because, like, they're big barrels. And, like, they would just, like, kind of be friends because she thinks he's not attracted to her. And, like, he has this whole thing with his past going on. And it's just, like, it's sad because, like, we know what's going on with them. So basically, in his past, we find out pretty early on that he was a sex slave for, like, years, like, since he was a child. And he met his friends that also live on this planet, I guess, doing, quote-unquote, the job. Obviously, I say this lightly because, like, he was paid for sure, like, you know, for his services, but, like, he was only paid, like, 1 credit when, like, he was promised, like, 400, like, over 400 credits per client. And so, I don't know what had happened in that, because obviously I skipped book 1, 2, and 3, so I don't know what had happened and how they got away from the brothel that they were working at. And basically, the reason why he pulls away is that because he can't stand human touch, because a lot of his clients were humans. And, like, it's just, like, it's heartbreaking to read about, but also, like, that angst just delivered so well. And it's, like, he finds her attractive, and he's like, you know what, it should not be an issue because, you know, I find her attractive. She's not the people that, you know, bought his body. She's not that. And so, anyways, I just want to tell you one thing really quickly. He tries to, you know, have sex with her. Like, he initiates sex because he's like, I can't, like, I need to be with her. He initiates it, and things seem to be going on, but then he gets soft.
Oh.
I know, he gets soft, and, like, he runs away, and, like, it was heartbreaking, because she's like, oh my gosh, she's not attracted to me, I did something wrong, and then, like, he kind of is like, you know what, I can be with you, but, like, it's only gonna be strictly sex, because, like, he figures it out, and kind of, like, works through it, and, like, he knows that she wants, like, marriage, and, like, kids, and all of that, and, anyway, so basically their story is kind of like there where, like, they're friends with benefits and marriage is never going to be on the table for them.
So you never told us, what does his jizz do?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So basically, his release, his jizz, once it is released inside you, it's like an aphrodisiac. You just never stop coming. He has to He literally has to go in.
Scoop it out?
Take it all out, yep.
What?
Because, like, you will never stop.
No way.
That's why he was, like, such a hot commodity.
Wait, how do you do that, though? How do you do that? Does she have to jump and, like, what? How?
Do you have a suction thingy?
How
does he do
it? A
it?
vacuum cleaner?
No, but I will say, so not only, okay, so yes, his jizz is special, but he legit has a suction cup on top of his dick. and it hits like the clit real where it needs to hit, you know? And like, anyways, it's a fun time. But no, they don't really describe it, but I think he like actually like has to like, I don't know how he takes it out, to be honest. I feel like she just like, you know,
wait,
just comes
what
out.
what other book had a suction cup? Was it not getting Ogre You?
Yeah, that one also had a suction cup.
Yeah. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. Anyways, okay, well, that's interesting.
Wait, actually, I don't know. He didn't have a suction cup. He had something else. I don't remember what it is, but he had something else going on.
He did.
No. I'm talking about this craving.
Oh, this alien. Oh, okay.
Book.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't remember what it was, but it was something there. Anyways, magical jizz.
But how do they make babies then? Does she just keep on coming for 9 months because his jizz is growing inside of her or something?
No, great question. So basically,
I'm glad you think so.
these aliens, I don't know, I forgot what they're called. They have something called a rut. So basically, they just have to like fuck for like days, basically.
Yes.
And during that time, that's the only time that their like cum is fertile, I believe. And that's how babies are made.
What is the title again?
It's called Craving to Havoc. I will send it to you, but also I kind of am curious about like the other books because the couples do make appearances in this book. So
all right. Well, how to move on from that? The last book on my official list, more on that later. The last book on my official list is called End of the Line by Nicky James.
Ooh.
So it's a MM book from the Rail Riders series, I think it's called. So anyway, the characters are Leo and Killian. So the book opens with Leo, who is in Montreal. He's running away from something. We know he comes from a very wealthy family, and we know he's a foreigner, so he's not from Canada. But he's in Montreal, and he's full of blood. He's drenched in blood, running away. He's panicking. And we know someone's after him. And he makes it to like a train station or a train, I don't remember what they call it, but essentially where they store the trains, I guess. Something like that. And he makes it there, and he's like, all right, like, I have to hop onto a train somehow. And, like, the trains kind of go by without stopping. So he's like, I have to hop onto one of them. And he's about to do it, and he's about to literally kill himself because he doesn't know how to do it. And Killian is in the bushes hiding with his found family of friends because they are, I guess, professional in a way, freight hoppers. And so they know how to do this shit. And they see this idiot, you know, trying to run after this train, and they're like, he's gonna kill himself. He doesn't know how to do this. Like, he's gonna do it all wrong. So Killian is like, well, shit, I'm not gonna let this fucking idiot kill himself. So he runs after Leo, and he grabs Leo, and he, like they run together towards the trees, because obviously there's police and stuff, because, like, it's very known that, like, there's freight hoppers in the area and stuff, so there's, like, police around it and stuff. So anyway, brings Leo back with him, and the whole gang, or Leo is like, all right, like, clearly you guys need money, because they're all kind of homeless, but by choice, I guess.
Okay.
They kind of just, like, move around. They don't have a home. They just hop onto trains and see wherever it takes them, type of thing. So Leo is like, well, I'm rich, I've got money, and I need you to, like, show me how to do this, because I need to get away from this town, like, right now.
What did he do?
So they do, and it's essentially kind of like a road trip book in a way, because they, you know, hop onto several trains like that, and they're kind of on this journey together till the end of the line, and then obviously they fall in love along the way, and Leo kind of realizes that his life of glitz and glam, which he never really loved to begin with, but he's finding that he's got a purpose with these people, and that he can finally be himself and feel like he's, you know, who he was meant to be and not who his father wanted him to be. Yeah. And then obviously there's the whole intrigue of someone's running after them, and for the most part of the book we don't know what Leo has done. So yeah, it was I really enjoyed it, to be honest. Like, the beginning is very slow and I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And also, like, Rail Riders is not something that I was like particularly interested in.
Yeah.
Yet it was done in a way that, like, the next day after I finished this book, we were on the highway and there was a train track and there was trains, and I was looking at the trains and I was like, oh, like Killian and Leo would be on these trains, and like I was trying to like figure out, like, because there's like the good what are they called? I don't even remember, but like the good what are they called? The different wagons, I guess.
Cabins.
Would you call it a cabin? Like, not passenger trains. You don't hop onto a passenger train that you die.
Freight train?
Like, yeah, like a freight train. But like,
Yeah, I don't know what
is it
they're
called? Like a
called.
wagon, or like the individual parts?
Compartment. No.
I guess we'll call it compartments. Whatever. There's like good ones and then there's bad ones. So like I was looking at the trains trying to figure out like which ones were the good ones, the bad ones. Anyways, honestly, like, by the end of it, I realized I was actually really attached to these characters, and it got me a little emotional. And yeah.
Is it
I
set
really
in like
enjoyed it.
present day Montreal, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, essentially, they kind of travel across Canada. It starts in Montreal and then it ends somewhere in Alberta or something.
Whoa, they made it far.
Oh, yeah. And it's like dead of winter, so it's like hella cold.
Ew.
And
Nuh-uh.
I don't know. Yeah. It sounded really uncomfortable and cold. But, you know, they love it. They love to look at the stars at night for 8 hours without moving onto a train. I don't know. Some people like that, I guess. But it was interesting just discovering a different culture. Well, I guess not a culture, but like, you know what I mean? Like a different lifestyle.
Yeah.
That like some people genuinely live their life that way. I don't know. It was interesting. I liked it.
That's cool. No, and Nikki James is, the author that wrote Shades of Darkness, right?
Yes, which we have an episode on. So if you want to go check that out, it's up there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed her writing, for sure. So I didn't even know you read a contemporary book recently.
I did. I'm getting back into contemporary, I guess. Who am I? I don't know. Do you guys have honorable mentions? I guess Seth mentioned one of them. Oh, you got another one?
I got like 2.
I have one honorable mention and then a monster book.
Okay. Who wants to start? Do you want to? You should start, since you.
Okay. My honorable mention is the show, which I'm sure you've probably heard about. It's all over the internet. It's called Squid Game.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. But in case you haven't heard about it, it's about a contest in which 400 plus players who come from different walks of life and who are really in debt are chosen to partake in a series of children's games that end up having like very deadly penalties if they lose. And then if they lose the chance to win $1 billion prize. And it's freaking crazy. It's addicting. There's violence. There's a lot of blood. There are moments where you're just like, it's shocking moments where this kind of, I don't want to say found families, but like found friends that would never like be friends type of thing.
Goal.
It's really good. I ended up crying in one of the episodes.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people cried. I don't know. It just looks so stressful to me that, like, I love K-dramas, but I just feel like, damn, this one looks real stressful.
No, it is fucking stressful because you don't think how something, I don't know, it's just the way the games are laid out. Like, you think, like, this is easy. Anybody can do this.
Because they're playing children's games, right?
It's children's games, yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just, like, one of the first games is red light, green light. Yeah. And I played the hell out of that game when I was little. Red light, green light, you know, like, that's nothing, but...
Question I have for all of us, basically. If someone came up to you and asked you if you wanted to take part in, like, these games to pay off your debt, what would happen? Like, would you join the games or?
No.
I would ask questions. How much?
But like, doesn't he just show up and he's like, sorry, how does it work? How do you even get chosen for the games?
Okay, so the main guy, he's addicted to, I think, like race horses, gambling, and he's very selfish. Guy? So no.
Oh.
No. He's a very selfish man. So he gets approached by the hot guy and
there he is.
tells him, do you want to play a game? And like the guy's like, leave me alone. He's like, I'll pay you if we're just gonna play a simple kids game, and I'll give you this much. And so he's like, okay, like I need that money right now.
Okay, then they're stupid. I'd ask questions.
But it's a simple, you don't really like in that moment, you're like it. So I think he does question like, what's the catch or why? He's like, nothing, like let's just play a game and I'll give you the money. But that leads on to like, okay, so he loses and like he's like desperate. He's like, okay, I'll give you another chance if you let me slap you.
Okay, but whoever is in charge is sadistic as fuck. Like, they clearly are after seeing people get hurt.
Like it's a game. It's a game within a game. Type
within
of thing.
A game.
Like,
within a game.
So there's a lot of selfish people, a lot of people that just do it for fun because they have money and they want to be entertained.
I feel like it just sounds like a very exaggerated view on our society, like in world of today in general. Anyways, hot guy comes up to you and says, I'm going to pay off your student debt. What do you say?
Sure, you can slap me around a little bit. I'm telling you, like, that actor.
I know, he's hot.
He is.
Damn.
Been seeing him all over my timeline. I was like, who the hell? He's the guy from Goblin.
Yes, he's the main guy.
Yes. I'm going to have to watch Goblin. Don't know about Squid Game. Feels like a little traumatic for me, but
yeah.
Goblin could do.
Goblin, I recommend Goblin. For real.
You get two hot guys in there.
I feel like I'd say no, just because I get very stressed. You know, and I'm not very competitive. I know it doesn't sound like it, but I'm actually not very competitive at all. I am with myself, but not with others.
Yeah.
And so in a stressful environment where I have to win or else,
yeah,
I would get crushed under the pressure. I would die.
I feel like I'm someone that I might get sucked into it just because I don't ask the right questions sometimes when I'm under stress. And I could just find myself, in the games and I'd be like, what the heck? How did I even end up here? And then, pew, I die.
No, I would ask questions. Like, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. Bring me a notepad and a pen.
Be like, are you offering to be my sugar daddy? Is that what's going on?
Is that what you're asking? Okay, here's the question then. Out of us three, who do you think would win the Squid Games?
My hands shake too much, so I don't think I could do the little break the candy out.
I don't think I'd be able to do that. Okay, you mentioned that candy, Seth. Marge, do you remember the mazapan candy that I sent you?
Yeah, that crumbles. Yeah.
So on TikTok, there was like a joke saying, oh, like if Hispanics were in like Squid Game, like our game would be trying to open the
without
candy
breaking
it. Without breaking it. I'm just like, that would be an interesting game.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like we would all die, unfortunately.
Unless we obviously somehow get a hot daddy to
If I get a hot daddy to protect me and make sure I make it through and win this game, then sure.
How many, is there only one winner in the game, or is there like whoever survives wins the money?
It's whoever survives.
Okay.
But there's
no one survives. Everyone dies.
Yeah,
Wow.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
Nice. Okay.
Talk about vague.
Yeah.
So what's your monster book then?
Yeah, tell us about your monster book.
So the monster book, it's claimed by the monster in my closet by Wanda Violet O.
What a title. Okay.
Sorry, by who? Wanda
Violet O. It's just about a book where this girl sees like a monster in her closet, and like the monster's waiting until she turns, I want to say 18, but maybe 21. I think 21. Waiting for her to turn 21.
He's just creeping in there.
I know. How long has he been in her closet?
He's just creeping, waiting for
Ask
her.
how long has he been in her closet? Did you check your closet? Is he in there?
For a while, I want to say.
So it's a stalker book.
Ooh.
Basically, yeah. So he waits until she's 21. She goes to a club on her birthday, I think. And then this guy approaches her, and she's kind of like drunk, and like she ends up like confessing like, oh yeah, the monster's gonna come and get me. And like this guy already knows what's gonna happen. So he's kind of like playing along supposedly to her little monster story. But basically he's there to like prepare her for the monsters. He's like a demon.
What?
So basically she gets
She's just looking out. She's looking at the door, making sure nobody's getting it.
She's at the club, and like this guy's like, okay, we're gonna prepare you for the monsters, and like
prepare you sexually or like mentally?
Sexually, yeah.
Wait,
so
you said for the monsters with an S?
Monsters, yeah.
Oh, there's more than one. Interesting.
There's more than
How many
one.
live in her closet?
Is it, or am I confusing it for another story?
I don't know, girl.
I may be confusing it because I read no. Forget it. So she's at the club. The guy told her that he's gonna prepare her, and she ends up getting banged by like a bunch of like the demons that work for the monsters or whatever.
Interesting.
She goes home. She's tucked into bed. The monster comes.
By who? The monsters?
No, she gets home, and for some reason, like her mom like walks her to the room and like tucks her in or something like that.
The mom is in on all this. I have a feeling the mom fucking knows.
She sold her daughter to the monster in the closet.
And then the monster comes.
Oh, he does, huh?
He's not the only one. He comes and he gets her. He takes her to like this different. He takes her through the closet to like this different.
Ooh, it's
realm.
like Phantom of the Opera.
Proceeds to get railed by all these monsters. The
question is, the monster in question, what does he look like?
And what does his
especially
appendage
down there?
look like? Yeah, there you go.
He's big. He's furry. Kind of like wolf-like.
Ooh.
Wolf-like.
Ooh.
I want to say.
That's new.
And then there's like this guy named Bob, and he's like. It's weird. This guy named Bob comes, and he's like more like human-like, but like he's like huge and shit. I don't know.
So he's a monster too?
Supposedly he was a monster, but he's human-like.
Bob is one of the love interests? With that name?
Yeah. Bob. Yeah.
Okay.
It was a weird little short
Yeah.
monster book.
Yeah. We love weird little monster books. We love them.
It did the job. Not like the other novella I tried reading, The Vessel.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, you
okay.
didn't like
The breeding
that.
novella.
Yeah.
It didn't hit the spot. Not like this one.
Okay.
This one was quick and smutty.
Okay. Steph, do you want to go first or me? I have a list of about 6 books.
Oh my gosh, Mark.
I'm gonna go through them quickly. I'm not gonna explain the story. I'm just gonna give you the tropes and like the important details like appendages and such.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I can go first, and let's end with something fun. With your monsters. All right. Honorable mentions, just 2 on my list right now. So I have Not My Type by Evie Mitchell, which is a contemporary romance, and it's about a podcast host who's a sexologist, and she talks about accessibility in the bedroom on the podcast. And she offers like tips and tricks for everyday life as well. So it's not just sexual advice; it's like everyday life. So she runs into a question where a listener wants to know like how can you incorporate bondage and like in the bedroom if like you are in a wheelchair or you have like other sorts of things that like in your life that maybe might not be as easy for you. Yeah. So she obviously doesn't know the answer to that. And her, like, herself being in a wheelchair, she's like kind of like interested in that idea, and so she goes looking, and she finds Jay, who actually runs classes on accessible bondage. And yeah, things get hot and heavy like real fast with those two, and this book does have instant emotions right off the bat, but it's just like a really sweet contemporary read. It was an easy read, and it was just fun, and I loved our heroine Frankie. She was just such a great character. So that's one. My second honorable mention is Maid, which is a TV show on Netflix, which I think you're watching. I saw my hot man Raymond on your story there. Anyways, so the story is about a young single mom named Alex who becomes homeless and barely making ends meet. This happens because she left her abusive ex-husband who was dependent on alcohol, and he was just very emotionally abusive. She finds a job as a maid, and through that she learns how to stand on her own and also like be her own person. And she tries to create a better life for herself while uncovering pieces of her past that kind of makes her look at her own life differently. So like there's like things that she blocked off when she was a child that she only now starts to remember, like going through this like emotional journey of like, you know, coming back from being abused by your partner. And yeah, it's just like this show was really important because it does like show the actual difficulties of like leaving one's abusive partner and like not going back. Because I feel like there's so many situations where like you go back and like the cycle just continues on. And it also shows you like the struggle of staying sober. I just feel like in media we just see like, oh, I stopped drinking and that's it. Like I stopped using, that's it. But like in this show, you actually see the struggle of trying to stay sober. So I just feel like the show was really important in that, but also Alex's journey as a woman as well. Like it was just such an amazing journey to see. And also, yes, I can't forget the hot guy. Yeah, he was very hot. Raymond, what was his name on the show again? It wasn't Joe, because that's his name in Ginny and Georgia. Nate. Yes, Nate.
Oh, it's the same guy from that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are we ready to move on to what I'm gonna call Marge's Monster Fucker and Weird Anatomy Report?
All right, let's get to it.
So, I've got 6 books for you that I read and enjoyed and wanted to share with you in case you're looking for a little short, smutty monster fucker book to read. So first book on my list is called Contagion by Amanda Milo.
Oh.
This is for the alien lovers out there, but specifically for those who want really weird aliens. Like, think Strangelove kind of alien, but the better version for me, personally.
Sounds like gag.
This book, you guys, is hilarious. I honestly have not read a book this funny in a long fucking while. I was laughing out loud. Simi, the alien guy, he is so adorable and so funny, and he's a germaphobe, and he's constantly thinking about germs everywhere and getting freaked out about it. And Aurora, the heroine, is like constantly trying to, you know, calm him down and be like, it's okay. Anyway, they were really cute, and his appendage is of the sort that comes out, you know, like a little slit.
Yeah, like with the slit and bloop, bloop. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bloop.
Yeah.
So really enjoyed that book.
Is it a novella length or is it like a full length? Novel?
I think it flirts with being a full length.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
Next is a book that I really enjoyed, and this was a first for me. Given to the Ghoul by Desirée M. Niccoli.
Oh, yeah.
It was a first for me. I had never read a book about a ghoul lover.
Me either.
Before. Was very into it. He lives in the desert with like his little community, and essentially, if you're looking for a book that is, I will eat your enemies and bring their remains back to you as a present, this is
so it's a cutesy
that.
book like that.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you killed them, you ate them, love that.
Thank
yeah,
you.
It's that vibe.
Oh my gosh, this book is on my list, so I'm really excited. I was kind of savoring it or like saving it up for maybe Halloween, like close to Halloween.
Yeah.
Also
love that this book has big, and the next one that I'm gonna mention have big
Appendages?
I'm about to die, therefore maybe I should just fuck the monster vibes, like energy about it.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah, so the next book I'm gonna mention is No Getting Ogre You by M.L. Eliza.
Yeah.
This again has the girl, Jacqueline, who is like, well, she falls into a cave, and then, you know, there's this ogre, big green man, softy, a real softy, who's living there. He's taking care of her because she broke her leg, and yeah, I mean, she's like, well, I'm probably gonna die or be stuck here, so like I might as well. And I was like, yeah, girl, get the D, get that big ass D. Because I will say with this book, like, he was described as so big that like sometimes she was like, oh, his finger touched me in that place, and I was like, bitch, his finger is fucking bigger than your head. How is that possible? How does that compute? Like, he's just, I don't know.
Which makes me question, I want to know how big he was down there, because if his finger was like literally the size of like a tree trunk.
Her coochie, her whole coochie. What about the dick?
What the hell?
What about the thing?
I was trying to figure that out as well. Never quite got there. I was like, bitch, you're gonna get split in half or something.
I guess like it hurts.
They made it work.
Good.
Yeah, they made it work somehow.
They made it work for sure.
Because at some point she's lying on his like chest/belly, and she mentions how she's the entire length of his belly. So I'm like,
torso,
bitch, he's big.
Yeah.
Like, he's big. So how does that fit? It doesn't fit. It can't fit. But anyway, you know, it's a romance novel. It will fit for the sake of the plot. It will fit. The next one is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. I have mentioned this, but I think the episode in which I mentioned it will not be out for like another couple weeks. So, you know, you'll hear about it then as well. But really enjoyed this one. It's got demons. The cover is a little deceiving because you're expecting like, you know, a cute little book with a cute little demon. And turns out this demon is like, you know, kind of feral in some ways. It was kind of sexy, had a lot of dirty talk. Nothing particularly special down there, I would say. Oh, by the way, the ogre had like a suction cup. I forgot to say that, but yeah, right in the good spot, you know?
Yes, that was the book I was thinking of. I don't know why I mixed them up.
Yeah. Really enjoyed That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon as well. There's not much to say about it besides if you want a demon that's not too weird, but also kind of kinky, there you go. Then I read, and I actually just finished this one, it's called Claimed by the Demon and Dragged to Hell by Harpie Alexa, which I just think is the funniest title, like Dragged to Hell. This one is for those of you who want demons, obviously, but darker. This has some non-con elements, a lot of them. This demon has talked about raping women in the past and not feeling bad about it at all.
Damn.
Yeah, it's one of those. You know, because he's like, I'm a demon. I don't fucking care. I just take whatever I want. Humans, and especially females, are, you know, the dirt under my feet. He treats this heroine like shite.
I need therapy, guys. Why does that speak to me?
But this is, you don't read this for the story, guys. You read this for the smut, you know? And it's a lot of edging. Like, honestly, 90% of it is edging.
Great, we love
it. And then you finally get released because this fucking bitch, meaning the demon, this fucking bitch has been sucking her sexual energy for like months. So she couldn't come. She wasn't able to come for months. And she was just like in like this heat, like, state where she was just constantly masturbating and couldn't come because he was sucking it out of her and using it to make himself stronger.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Okay, well, wow. Is it a novella or a full-length book?
That's a novella, like 85 pages. And then also, I should probably mention that his dick is so big that they're literally like, it's not gonna fit. And it doesn't fit. It doesn't fit. It actually does not fit. And he forces it in. And she bleeds.
So we're starting this tonight, Seth?
Yeah, I'm gonna start this tonight. What about you? Are you gonna start it tonight too?
That's what I'm saying. We're starting it tonight.
Read it for the smut though. And lastly, but not last but not least on my list, and this is a first on the podcast. I read a webtoon comic, which is called Atnomen by IllustrAriane or something like that. This is the artist, I believe, who did the art for the orc book by CM Nascosta.
Ooh!
Those illustrations. So he's a gargoyle, and the girl in the book, she, is kind of alone in the world, and she's been talking to this statue who she believed was just a statue, and in her head it kind of became her friend and whatever. One day he actually wakes up, but he's been waking up every night, but he just didn't tell her hey, by the way, I'm kind of alive. So he wakes up and she's like, oh my god, you're real. So they start up this relationship together, and they're really cute, and I'm just gonna send you pictures because he's monstrous. His face literally opens and it's just teeth. It splits in half and it's just teeth, and then he eats people.
But he doesn't eat her. Does he eat her, but in a different way?
I wish he did. And that's my next point. Because look at how delicious he is.
Oh, wow.
But I feel like there is not safe for work content or on her Patreon.
Yes, so that's my next point. So this is my appeal to our listeners. There's a Patreon on which there's not safe for work art, and I'm gonna start a GoFundMe to have access to it. Because I'm gonna need the NSFW art for these two, because I want to see what his dick looks like, to be perfectly honest.
I want to know too. Oh my gosh.
I did find these.
Okay, can you send me the name of this webtoon so I can read it? Oh my, what?
So yeah, I want access to that.
Oh, I've seen the second one. I haven't seen the other
So
one.
These are, oh my gosh.
Yeah, so anyways, read it because there was a hot monster man in it. But to be honest, the art style is gorgeous. I really love it, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it's done though. No, I don't think it's completed.
Okay.
So yeah. Have fun with that one, and also fund my GoFundMe page, please. I would like to access the Patreon. Can we get that going?
I know, right?
So yeah, that was that. That's my list. That's all the monster books I had to talk about. Oh, and it's at Atnomen. I think that's how you say that.
Atnomen?
Atnomen. Atnomen.
And then it's on Webtoon?
Yeah, it is. For free! Except if you want the dick, then you have to pay for the dick, unfortunately. It's only fair, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our catch-up and chill for this week. Do you guys have anything else to add before we close this episode?
Not really, no. I think we said all we could.
Yeah, I tried to jam pack all the monster books that I've been reading here, just because I know that recently, or at least in the coming weeks, there won't be a whole lot of monster books featured on the podcast, because we are reading the Wallflower books, so we're aware of that. It's just, while we love monsters, the point of this podcast was to explore monsters within as well, and so it's important that we do that, and we wanted to do the Wallflower books because we love it. So unfortunately for the next few months, not so many monsters, but I hope that this episode gave you all the monsters that you needed.
Yeah, but there will be more monsters in the coming episodes.
Yeah.
Sometime soon. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. 2022 will be full of monsters. I'm sure. S is shaking her head, nodding her head. Yeah.
And with a smirk on her face.
Yeah. So if you read any of the books that we mentioned today or watch any of the things that we've mentioned today, or you have a monster fucker list of your own that you would like to share with us because you're like, this book is very good actually, feel free to reach us online. You can find us on Twitter at TheRTMPod, as well as on Instagram at Romancing the Monsters Podcast. We're also on Gmail at Romancing the Monsters Podcast at gmail.com. TikTok is Romancing the Monsters Pod, and we're on YouTube. Just search for the name of our podcast, and you should be able to find us. As for me, I'm also on Instagram and Twitter at Foes and Lovers.
And you can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at But This Book.
And you can find me, Seth, on both Instagram and Twitter at Pros with Woes. And also, please feel free to leave any rating or review on any of the podcast platform. It would mean the world to us if you could do that.
Happy reading, guys. Bye.
Bye.